Imagine being called the most beautiful woman in the world. People staring at you everywhere you go. Photographers chasing you. Directors putting you in films, just so the audience can look at your face. And imagine knowing something they don't, that while they see a movie star, you are secretly inventing technology that will one day help create Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS. And almost nobody will believe you. This is the story of a woman the world thought was just a pretty face. But her mind was far more dangerous than anyone imagined. She was not born in Hollywood. She was born in Vienna in 1914 in a quiet apartment filled with books. Her name was Hedy Lamarr. Her father loved explaining how the world worked. When they walked through the city, he would stop in front of machines, trams, printing presses, street mechanisms, and explain them to her like little mysteries. How gears move, how signals travel, why machines obey invisible rules, and she loved it. Not the way kids sometimes politely listen to adults. She really loved it. She would go home and take apart music boxes just to see what was inside. Not to break them, but to understand them. You know that curiosity people have when they keep asking, but why? She never lost that. But the world did not notice her curiosity. The world noticed something else. Just her face. By the time she was a teenager, everyone around her said the same thing. You should be in movies, and soon she was. In Europe, she became famous almost overnight. Producers called her the most beautiful woman alive. And once the world gives you a label like that, it becomes very hard to escape it. People stop asking what you think. They only ask how you look. At 19, she married a very wealthy arms manufacturer, a man connected to powerful political and military circles. Their house was full of extravagant dinners, military officers, scientists, weapons experts. They discussed torpedoes, radio signals, military technology at the table. But there was a strange rule there. She was not really supposed to speak. She was supposed to sit there, looking beautiful and listening. And that's exactly what she did. She listened carefully to conversations about how radio signals guide weapons and how easily those signals can be jammed by enemies. Most people would forget a conversation like that the next day. She did not. Her brain stored it away like a puzzle, waiting to be solved. But her marriage turned controlling. Her husband tried to control where she went, who she met, even whether she could continue acting. And eventually, she did something that sounds like a movie scene. She escaped. Legend says she disguised herself as a maid and ran away from the house in the middle of night. Soon, she was on a ship to America, arriving in Hollywood, where she became Hedy Lamarr. Hollywood loved her. The camera loved her even more. Directors said she barely needed lighting. Her face seemed to glow on screen. But while everyone admired her beauty, something else was happening. At home, after filming long days on set, she would sit at the table with notebooks, sketching ideas, thinking about signals and war. Because this was the early 1940s, World War II was raging. And she kept thinking about those dinner conversations years earlier. Radio-controlled torpedoes could be incredibly powerful, but enemies could jam the signal easily, unless the signal kept changing constantly, jumping between radio frequencies so fast that no one could block it. One night, she shared the idea with a composer friend. Together, they came up with a system inspired by something unexpected: player pianos. Those automatic pianos that play music from rolls of punched paper. Their idea was simple and brilliant. What if the transmitter and receiver jumped between radio frequencies the same way a player piano jumps between notes? Both devices would follow the same pattern. To outsiders, it would look like random noise, but the message would still arrive perfectly. They patented their invention in 1942. It was called frequency hopping spread spectrum. Today, it's one of the fundamental ideas behind modern wireless communication, including Wi-Fi. But the military did not take it seriously. Not really. They looked at the patent, and then they looked at her, a glamorous movie star. And the response was basically, why don't you help the war effort by selling war bonds instead? So that's what she did. She traveled the country raising millions of dollars, while the invention sat quietly in a patent file, unused, for decades. Years later, engineers rediscovered the idea and realized how brilliant it was. The concept became a foundation for modern wireless communication, the kind that lets phones talk to routers, headphones connect to laptops, satellites send signals across the world, technology we use every single day. The woman behind the idea? The actress everyone once called just a pretty face. Her name was Hedy Lamarr. And maybe the most fascinating part of this story isn't the invention. It's the reminder hidden inside it. Sometimes the world puts people into very simple boxes. Pretty, quiet, actor, scientist. But real people are never that simple. A curious mind can exist anywhere, at a dinner table, on a film set, in a notebook. And sometimes the person everyone underestimates quietly changes the future.